Hello, welcome to Brap Life. My name's Angel. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's really cool to see how many of you guys are resonating with these stories week in and week out. It's also really cool to hear comments from you guys about things that you heard or resonated with in the episodes, or when you guys nominate people. It's been really awesome to be able to go to people and tell them, hey, you were nominated, do you want to share your story? And people get all excited. Even if they choose not to share their story, it's still really, really cool. So this week's episode is with Maverick Thaxton. He's mainly an East Coast A rider. However, he has come over to the West Coast a little bit. So we may be seeing a little bit more of him in 2026 out here. But in the meantime, I hope you guys really enjoy this episode. I had an awesome time talking to him. It was really cool to talk mindset. And as this episode was kind of uploading, he and I ended up talking for like another hour, 2 hours, I think it was, about mindset. I wish I had recorded it all, but the main points of the talk are in this episode. So I hope you guys really enjoy it, and I'll see you next week. Well, thank you for choosing Brap Life as your first podcast, because this is really cool.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So let's just jump right into it. Tell us kind of a little bit about how you got into riding, like what bike you started on, and kind of how that transitioned into your racing.
Yeah, so when I was like, I guess kind of like it's kind of the same for a lot of riders, like, your dad kind of gets you into it. And, for me, at least, that was kind of how it is. A lot of my friends around here, it was the same story. Like, your dad was into it when he was young, and you just he puts you on a bike when you're younger, and you just kind of start riding and either fall in love with it or don't. And I kind of did when I was really little. I ended up going to Loretta Lynn's when I was on like PW50s and stuff. And that was a really cool experience. I obviously don't remember everything. I was in like second grade or something, but I remember bits and pieces. Like I remember getting like funnel cake or something when I was really little. The
important things.
Yeah. And then when I got into like 65s and stuff, we started like obviously jumping by then. Like you were hitting like triples and everything. And I've never been like the most stingy guy, so it always sketched me out a little bit, but it really scared my mom. And so that was kind of that might have been the end of my racing career for a while. So I actually basically stopped riding dirt bikes for like 10 years. I just didn't really have much to do with them. I'd go out like 2 or 3 times a year with my dad, just to like the local trails and stuff like that, and go and hang out there with like the local guys there that are riding, and had a good time. And then my senior year of high school, when like COVID and everything happened, I was like, well, now I don't really have anything else to do. Like, I was running track at the time and was like having fun with that. Obviously stopped. So I was like, well, I guess I'll pick up dirt bikes again. And then just kind of like immediately fell in love with it. I think I was on like a Husky 150 at the time, which had like the push start, which for me was like everything. It was like, oh, this is so nice. I don't have to take everything. And then just kind of gradually started liking like the harder and harder stuff. I started with like the GNCC series. My uncle was really into that. And then I did a couple of those, and then I tried like my first hard enduro. I think it was like the Fallen Timbers, like Bad Medicine hard enduro.
Yeah.
Really sick. And then just kind of got into it from there, and then, kind of went all in, and the rest is history, I guess. Kind of been riding the hard enduro stuff ever since.
So how long from the time that you started hard enduro did it take for you to get to the level that you're at now?
Gosh, I mean, I guess kind of from the start, I feel like I've kind of slowly been progressing. Just when I first got on the bike and everything, like once I was like on full-size bikes and everything on that 150, I remember the first time I ever saw someone do like a pivot turn. And then from then on, I was like, oh, that was like, I didn't know you could do stuff like that. Like, I was like, that was a whole new thing for me. And I was like, oh, that was really cool. So I started trying to learn how to do that, and then like kind of started to get that down. I was like, I wonder if I can go the other way. So I like went, to the right without the foot on the brake and stuff. And that was a disaster. But slowly started to learn how to do all that stuff. And then started watching videos like the Rich Larson videos and stuff like that were always like really entertaining and like interesting. And I'd watch like old Erzberg videos, and then like I would progress like a little bit. Like I'd see something and like watch him kind of zap it or something like that. And I would like go out into the woods and I'd try it. And like sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. I didn't really have the timing down yet, but I was like, I could feel myself getting better, and that was like really satisfying. And so, kind of as the, couple years go by, 2 or 3 years, I'm like, okay, like I'm starting to actually be able to ride some of these sections in the hard enduros. Not just be like, I get to them and look to someone else like, you want to team up, get through this. And so, I don't know, yeah, like by, and then, I don't know, probably like 2 years ago or something, I felt like, okay, now I'm like legitimately starting to kind of race these and feel like I've got to like keep a pace up and stuff like that. And, I've gotten a little bit better since then, obviously, but, trying to stay on that kind of staircase, trying to climb.
Yeah.
It's been fun since then. But yeah, I'd say just from like the start of the 150s and stuff, just trying to like see different things, watch videos, and just trying different stuff out in the backyard was kind of how I.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you didn't have like any like really formal training, like you didn't do any like training classes or anything like that?
No, not a whole lot. I really just I watched a lot of like just on like honestly like the Rich Larson videos. I still watch like to this day, just trying to like pick up on little things that I don't even realize like maybe I'm doing and don't realize I'm doing, so then I can focus on a little more. But it really was just like I'd watch a video of like old Erzberg, and see I don't know Johnny Walker or something doing something, and I'd go into the backyard and I'd scale it down a little bit, but I was like, okay, like I wonder if I can do it, and then I'd kind of sit there with my phone and like watch it and slow it down, like, okay, he seems to be like jumping at this time, so I'd slow it down and try and jump at that time and stuff like that. And it was like it was obviously tough, but I kind of like enjoyed it. And then my dad was super helpful with it as well. We'd spend a lot of time just out at the the trails and everything, and trying to find different lines that were like that. And he'd see like the same video or something, and he'd be like, no, you're jumping a little too early, or like you're jumping a little too late, or like you need to drive with your legs a little better, or do this or do that or something. And together we kind of moved up the chain a little bit, and just kept figuring stuff out until we're where we are now. So not a whole lot.
That's really cool. No, but I think that's awesome though that your dad is like so involved in that. Like that's really cool. Nobody in my family rides, so I don't have that kind of experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's been there like every step of the way for sure. Like when I was in like college and stuff, I would see like a video or something of I don't know King of Motos or something, and I'd send it to him, and then he'd watch it, and we'd kind of pick up on the same stuff, and we'd call and be like, what do you think about that? Or like, I don't know, like he was hitting it this way, or Cody did that and Tristan did this. Why do you think they did it different? So it was really like it was fun to try and like figure kind of like out those little things. And obviously we didn't by no means caught everything, but I like to think that we caught enough that I was starting to really kind of make those techniques my own. Like I was really starting to like internalize them and figure them out. Just even from sitting on the and the couch in my apartment in college and stuff, not even riding, just trying to think about how to do them and stuff like that. It was a good system we had down, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, obviously it worked for you. So I think it's really cool to hear how people learn, because everybody learns in a different way. So like I do best when I have like that real time like feedback, but I'm also really short, and so sometimes the way that people do things in a video, I can't do that. So like I just don't have the same range of motion. So trying to figure it out is a little bit hard to modify things sometimes, but thankfully there's some really great short riders out there that are really great at answering stuff. Like Crystal loves moto. She's short, and she'll give me tips and stuff. Like she talked to me about pivot turns, because I was like, how do you do that without putting your foot on the ground? Like on most places I can't touch. So I'm working on it. But you talked about timing. That's something that I'm working on right now. That's my biggest thing, is the timing. So I feel like once I unlock that, I'm going to be unstoppable.
No, I've never really had too much problem with like the height thing. Like my legs, I feel like
Mhm.
I think pretty long. I'm not like crazy tall on my own, right? But I think my legs are kind of long.
Mhm.
So yeah, I never had to like think about like, oh, what if I can't really touch here? Like, if I'm on like, obviously if it's a really steep hill, like I'm gonna high side no matter what. But for the most part,
Yeah.
I can kind of put my leg back and get it down or something if I really needed to, which I think helps more than I give it credit for. Just that little bit of
Mhm.
balance you can regain from that. You don't fall this way or fall that way. You're able to kind of track up through the little rock garden or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely noticed that having longer legs benefits people in hard enduro quite a bit.
Mhm.
Um, even going through the sections at TKO, so many people were just like feet down paddling through, and
Yeah.
I didn't have that option. So
Yeah.
it's a struggle, but like it's really forced me to have a better technical skill set.
Mhm.
So I'm learning at a slower pace, but I'm learning the proper way, like the way that we all should be doing it. But um, sometimes I would rather just be able to put my leg down.
Yeah, no doubt. I understand. I'm a big proprietor of like trying to learn it the right way. But
Mhm.
you're 100% right. It can get the right way can get a little bit frustrating sometimes. It's like, golly, I just want to get over
Mhm.
this thing. I just can't for some reason. So I get it,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah. One of the first times I went riding with the guys out here in California, I was like so frustrated, not with them, but with myself because I couldn't touch the ground and I just like couldn't figure out how to get up this hill. And the guy who was trying to like coach me is like 6'3", and I was like, he's like, just put your foot down like here, and I was like, my leg does not reach, sir. And he's like, no, it'll totally reach. He's like, it's your bike's in a rut, you'll reach. And so I got on the bike and I immediately fell over because I couldn't reach. And he's like, wow, you're really short. I was like, yes, I am. Like, so I mean, I try and find things like that. Now, my friend told me I take really hard lines. Um, when we were out at the Rubicon Trail, he said that, and I was like, I'm taking the lines that put my bike in the rut or in the middle of two rocks, but I might have to help my bike through it a little bit with some muscle, but it's still easier for me because if I lose my balance at this point of my skill set, I can just put a foot down. So
Yeah.
it might be harder, but it's really not. It's an energy saving thing. So,
Hmm.
um, but also part of that too is that I have had I don't know if it's good fortune or bad luck of riding with people who are a lot better than me. Most of the people that I've ridden with since I started are like A and pro level. And so like I see the lines that they take. And so when I'm with other people, I'm taking lines that like would not be the lines that the boys would take. They'd be like the baby lines, but they're still hard compared to what like another C rider would take.
Right.
So
No, I
it's
mean that's kind
it's
of the beauty.
relative, I guess.
Like you get to make it as hard as you want to, almost. Like especially
Yeah.
when you're out riding. It's like, yeah, you can go like up around the rock, but what if you just try and go over it? It's
Yeah.
really up, which I think is kind of nice because you can kind of tailor it to whatever you're feeling for the day.
Hmm.
Obviously you need to push it, but I think it's fun. Like it's fun to just try new lines and things like that.
Yeah. So do you often go out and do just like trail rides, or is most of your riding just like training now?
uh to be honest, most of it's like training anymore.
Mhm.
It's funny, I say that, and Sunday, like 2 days ago or something, was I just went out for like 6 hours on like a trail ride. Like it wasn't super serious. It was like I just showed up at like 10 or something to the trailhead, and there was a bunch of like the local guys there, and I was like, "Do you mind if I tag along?" And they're like, "Sure." So we just kind of putted around, but it was like to me, it was like a nice break, like a nice way to kind of recover and get my mind back into it,
Yeah.
and just like kind of enjoy it again. Not so I feel like I get in a habit of like taking it too serious sometimes, and like it's at the end of the day, I'm just out riding a dirt bike. Like it's not the end of the world to fail a hill climb or something like that. It's just have fun, enjoy it. So it was nice to like it's to ground myself again and kind of bring myself back into reality of like calm down.
Mhm.
It's you're just having fun in the woods. So, um,
Yeah.
but no, mostly anymore it is kind of a lot of training. Most of the stuff I do. Um, kind of revolves around that.
Yeah.
I remember like last summer for sure was tough. I was doing basically 2-a-days every day. I'd wake up and in the mornings and go ride, kind of typically where I ride, and then come back, kind of eat, hang out for a little bit, maybe work on the bike some, and then that evening I would go back out again into the backyard and do like, just work on skills. Like it'd be really boring and stuff like that, but it was literally just like, in my mind that's how I can get better. So I would just get in the backyard for hour or 2 hours or something in the evening, do reps on something that was super easy, but I felt like I could do it better if I was working on it. So I was like, I'll just do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, it's mostly training anymore, to be honest with you. It's not a whole lot of trail riding.
Yeah. Well, I think you get to a certain point and, you're just focusing on the things that maybe you do struggle with a little bit more, maybe not even struggle, but the things that you're not comfortable with or whatever. Versus like for me, I split my time between going out on trails and sessioning stuff, whether it's drills or like sessioning one particular area. I just don't have a lot of seat time. Like I'm starting to get more now, but being out on the trail, the visual intimidation is real. I see stuff and like I'll be out with the boys and I will full on brakes and I'm like, nope. And they're like, come on, it's not a big deal. I'm like, for you guys, like that's insane. Like it looks absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know how you went over it. But then they always coach me through it and I make it usually. But I think it's at my level, it is very different than where you're at. You have those skills that when you see something like that, even if it does intimidate you, you have the skill and you can just lean on that.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely like, I for sure get intimidated. Like this was kind of something I recently picked up. I got kind of lucky. I was able to link up with Ryder and James just to do like some riding with them. And that turned out to be like, to me, one of the best things I've been able to do. I was kind of lucky and kind of thankful for those guys just like saying like, yeah, you're like, come ride with us and see what it's like. And to me, it was super sick on the drive out. And then I got there and we started riding. I was like, wow, I don't belong here. Because they were like, they're so gnarly. They hit just the biggest lines. And I'd look at the bottom of them and be like, dude, there's just no way I'm going up that. And for some stuff that I was like, yeah, I'm just not doing it and just wouldn't. But sometimes, like for some of them, by the end of the day, I'd be like, I still don't really want to do it, but like, I don't know. Like I've heard James talk about like, he tries to scare himself, and I think that's a good strategy. So just to kind of keep pushing that boundary. So I try to do some of the lines that they do, and then I took that kind of back home with me, and I try to find some big lines that spook me a little bit. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not the cindiest guy in the world for sure. But I try to find lines that just, they're right on that borderline, maybe a little bit above what I'm comfortable doing. Just to try and, push that boundary and get more comfortable with bigger and bigger lines. And I've gotten a little bit better at it for sure, but I'm still, I'm still definitely a little scared of stuff, no doubt.
Well, a lot of the stuff like out here, out west is more visually intimidating. I feel like when I came out here, I was just like, I don't want to ride anything because it's all exposure. And it's like super scary. There's like a lot of big rocks and it just looks, I feel like it looks more intimidating. Maybe because there's a lot more rocks that you see versus like back east. There's still rocks, but they're like hidden under dirt. So they don't, I guess, scare me as bad. Did you find that same experience?
Yeah, for sure. I like just riding like on some of the stuff. Like obviously there's more traction kind of in general out west than the East Coast. So like I feel like a lot of the lines that are on the West Coast in the races especially like wouldn't be possible, or they would be like the obstacle. Like you'd get out there and there's some 10 or 12 foot wall on the West Coast and there's not even a spectator around. Like no one cares because it's not a big deal. But if you were to put that on, that's the end all be all. No one's getting over that. That's like the thing. So obviously like with that though, like you have better traction. So naturally, like the race promoters put in bigger and bigger lines because you you can handle it because you have the traction. But at least for me, coming from the East Coast, like the first couple races I did out west, I was like, yeah, this just isn't possible. Like, I don't know how anyone made it up this, because in my mind I was like, yeah, like you can't get traction on a rock like that. And then I'd get on it like, oh, maybe you can, and it would turn out that you can kind of send it up all these big faces and everything. And that was definitely new to me. It took me a while to adjust to that and be like, all right, like, calm down, we're okay, just take it up there.
Just trust it a little bit. Yeah. Most of my riding last year was all East Coast. I started the year in North Dakota, but I had just gotten my bike in January. I didn't ride it until like the end of February, and then I moved to the East Coast in March. So I had very, very little time riding it West Coast, and then I went East Coast, and so most of my riding was like Maine, New Hampshire, Tennessee, and North Carolina. So that was like the first like 50 or so hours of my bike was all East Coast. And then I came out here and I was like, this is a totally different ball game. Like totally scary. And like I said, for somebody who has very little seat time, is like you said, it's like, this isn't possible. And then I got connected with these guys who took me out on that first trail ride. First of all, the next time you come out west, we have to go to Jawbone. You'll freaking love and hate it. It is so scary. But it would be a really cool experience for you if you like hill climbs. There's a lot of hill climbs out there. But yeah, the guys took me there, and like my buddy was like, oh, we're going to go on a leisurely trail ride, because they had been hitting stuff and I'd just kind of been watching them. And I was like, I didn't think any of this was possible. And leisurely trail ride to go back. We end up on a spine. And I was like, oh my God, like, I can't do this, you guys. So, but I mean, I did it. It was absolutely terrifying. I struggled so much, more because of the mental side of it, because I was just like, absolutely afraid I was going to send my bike off the side of the mountain and just, like a cartoon, just like,
yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely different riding. It's just a whole different style, and like for me at least, it was like a whole different mental game. Like I felt like on the East Coast, I had to be like almost perfect with like my wheel placement and stuff like that. It's like, you have to be an inch left or an inch right. But out there, I was like, after like a few days of riding out there, I was like, I just don't know if it matters quite as much. Now, maybe for like, someone that's hitting just massive lines, like I don't know, one of the top guys or something, maybe it does matter. But for me, I wasn't like, I'm not hitting those, those insane lines yet or anything. So it was like, I just feel like I could figure it out like later on. Like I feel like if I could just take off from here, get my balance and start moving, I can figure it out later on, which was definitely different from the East for me. So that was, that took getting used to. And there's so many little nuances that you don't even think about when you're out riding. But when it is right in front of you, you're like, oh wow, yeah, like that's something I have to consider as well. So it's definitely.
You weren't at Moab, were you?
I was, yeah. That was.
You were.
Some of the most miserable I've been. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that one was kind of very different. That one was visually intimidating as just a spectator.
No, I thought the race was sick. I really enjoyed it. Like I thought the track was really fun. But it was, to me, it was almost like the TKO of the West. Like it wasn't like insanely difficult. I mean, it was tough. Don't get me wrong. I struggled, no doubt about it. But like it just continuously was just beating me down. Like I was like, dude, I can't catch a break here. Like it was just every corner. I was like, dude, I can't hit this, and the rocks. Like I felt like everything was spinning on me. It was just I was really getting beat up. It was a lot. I really enjoyed it. But by the end, like in that, I think it was called like Black Flag or something like that. In the last like finish shoot there, where all the spectators were kind of lining the sides and stuff. I was coming up in like the last little bit, and I probably only had like 50 yards to go into the finish line, and I was like throwing up all over myself. Like I was like, I hadn't, like I know they say not to take your helmet off, but I was like, I'm sorry, Matt, like I'm gonna have to on this one. And so I was just like sitting with my hands on the handlebars, and I had like 30 minutes to finish, and I was like, dude, I don't honestly, I don't even think I'm gonna. Like I could see the finish line and like talk to the guy the flag. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. It was just so nasty. And I finished, and like I was just laying there, and like everything started cramping up on me. Oh, it was gnarly, but it was fun. Like I really enjoyed the race. I think the guy that put it on really killed it. It was a super fun track. The venue's sick, and that whole
Yeah.
area is just.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Joe and Mesa, Joe, they're racers, so they know how to put together a track. So yeah, I've heard nothing but good things from racers about how well Moab went. So
yeah,
it's really cool because I think last year was the first year that they did it. So it's awesome that you were able to go when it was so early in the
yeah, it was
series.
cool. It was neat to see it all. Like you see the videos and everything, and then you get there and it's all so different. But it's still like, it's that excitement of being like, man, like a new place to ride, like kind of a new
Heck
trail to hit.
yeah.
It was like, oh, this is really neat. So it was cool to see it all, like, and to see everyone out there too. Like I enjoy like, seeing everyone at the races, and like you kind of travel from all across the country, and then you join up in this
Yeah.
random area with no cell phone service, and you're all just having a good time.
Yeah, that's one thing that we always talk about is the community around hard enduro. For me, it's kind of become my family. And I was, like I said, East Coast last year. So I hadn't been to any of the West Coast rounds. So this year, January, King of the Motos, I knew like one person going out there other than the pros, but like I'm not going to go and camp with the pros, So I was like, oh man, I don't know anybody. Like, I don't know if this is going to be the same experience. Like, I was kind of freaking out a little bit. And I went, and everybody was so welcoming and so cool. I met so many people, and like people were like, "Oh yeah, you can come and camp with us." And it was super amazing. And that's how I met the guys that I now ride with, was at King of the Motos. So,
Yeah, that's
um
great. It's really like
yeah,
I
like
enjoy just everyone knowing everyone and kind of being helpful to everyone. It's like, obviously we're
yeah.
trying to win. At the end of the day, it's like it's fun to be there and kind of hang out with other people that you enjoy being with. So it's all
Yeah,
it's all.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like I've had several people, especially like on the top guys, say that it's a race. You are racing the guy next to you, like Tristan and Cody are constantly battling, but you're also racing like and fighting the terrain, right? Like, so hard enduro has so many instances of people helping each other through, because it's like you said, this is hard, this is not easy, and some of this stuff seems impossible. And there have been cases where, say, like Romaniacs or Erzberg, where people have to help each other in order for anyone to finish.
Yeah,
So I think that it's just as much as a fight against the terrain as it is a fight against the guy who's like almost at your level or right at your level.
yeah. I remember when I forget, it was a couple years ago or something, and I was talking to one of the race promoters. It was the guy that uh, puts on the Wildwood. I think his name is Jeff Husted. Great guy. Like he's super sick to ride with, and I really like the Wildwood track. But we were
Yeah.
talking about it one day, and like um, saying that a lot of the people, they come out and they're just like, it's cool. Like if I win, I win, but I just want to see if I
Yeah.
can make it. Like I want to see if I can do a lap or something. Just to see, how hard can I push myself? Can I get over these things? You might walk the
Yeah.
track and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like that's a lot steeper than I thought it was going to be, or those rocks are a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
like the YouTube videos do it justice, but like, some of the local
Yeah.
guys will show up, be talking to me, and they're like, yeah, I've seen that Tristan Hart dude. Like, he looks all right. Like, I don't, it's not that big a deal. And then they get there like, oh my gosh, that dude's a nut. um, they see the stuff in person, and it's so different from what they expected. Um,
Yeah.
so it's cool to see like the people show up and just be like, yeah, can I, with my bike, can we get over this and finish a whole lap?
Mhm.
Even, a lot of people, maybe that's the goal, is just to see how far they can make it, which I think is I think that's super sick, just to see how far you can push yourself. I think that's a
Yeah.
cool aspect that's to hard enduro for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a guy at the finish line of the hot lap, and he was kind of judging me. He is, because I took 3 hours to do the hot lap. Okay. This is like, I'm new. And I struggled through it. I struggled to get through that end enduro cross stuff. Like, that was a challenge for me, but I made it through, and my friends were like screaming and they were like so excited for me and like acting like I just won Erzberg. Like, it's just, but it was like a huge deal for me personally. And they knew that. They've been following my journey, and they saw me push, like they followed me throughout the track and they saw how hard I was working. So
Mhm.
it is a big deal because for me, that's the hardest thing I've ever done. And to finish it and like know that I like technically you didn't have to do the hot lap, right? You still technically qualified into Saturday's race, but in my head I was like, okay, I officially qualified now. Like I am worthy to do this race tomorrow. I got my butt handed to me, or yeah, I handed to me like the next day, but like I had so much fun just that challenge, like you said. So
Yeah.
I think that that's the coolest thing. And I've gotten to this point by watching other people do that. Granted, on a grand scale, I remember one of the first years that I started watching hard enduro. I want to say it was 2015 or 2016 when nobody finished Erzberg. And, I was like, whoa, like that's insane. And I
Mhm.
don't know why. I don't know why that made me want to do this, but I'm the weird person who started watching hard enduro before I got into dirt biking, never ridden before. I had never seen other dirt bike races before, like didn't know what supercross or motocross was, but I knew who Graham Jarvis was. I knew who
Yeah.
Andreas Ledenbecker was. I learned who Cody Webb was when he came on the scene, and like I watched these guys from the beginning of their hard enduro careers, like,
Mhm.
but I don't know. They made it look semi easy, but it was still like back then it was really hard, So
Yeah.
I just saw it and I was like, no, I'm gonna do this one day. And
Yeah.
then when I finally got a bike, I got a TTR. That was my first bike. I was like almost 30. And I was telling my friends, I was like, you guys, I'm gonna go to Erzberg one day, just watch.
Yeah.
And like that is a long ways from happening, but because I Erzberg is really hard, like, to qualify into.
Mhm.
So, like, I didn't never dream of Romaniacs, but that's the one that I'm gonna be doing. So
Sweet.
Erzberg will be after that.
Good. Yeah. Just another year. We'll get a little better. And
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. But
There's.
I feel like I put in a lot of work, and for I have less than 160 hours of seat time essentially. So like ever on any bike. That's between my TTR and my Husky. And I'm out here trying to do stuff like TKO and trying to ride with these guys in California, and I'm trying. And
Mhm. That's the
that's
most
just
important.
it's fun. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got to be trying. To me, I feel like it's important just to be doing something that like challenges you at all. Like just maybe
Mhm.
even broader than hard to know. It's just important to be doing something that like is kind of gets you up in the morning and you grit your teeth and you're like, yeah, just I want it. I got to get better at something. And I feel like it's a like hard to know is like a perfect like personification of that. It's like you can see
Yeah.
yourself kind of getting better and stuff, but it's hard to get better at. It's it's you go out there and you bust your butt and do this and you do that. It's like, that was a hard day, but man, that was a lot of fun. You'll sit there and push
Yeah.
your bike for 6 hours, but you're like, man, that was really a good time when you're driving home or something like that. So I think it's sweet to hear people that are
Yeah.
like, just trying, like just to try it out. It's super sick.
Yeah. I always say that like dirt bikes, like in general, have given me such a good feeling. Like I'm so happy now. Like I have like my whole life is so much better because of dirt bikes. Is giving me my best friends, like my family. Like I said, like I get to go all over the country and see people, and it's been really great. But I'm like overly happy, I guess. And so I want to like bottle up this feeling and just give it to people. But I can't really do that. So the next best thing is to try and influence people to get into dirt bikes, even if they're not going to do hard enduro. Like just go ride a bike, see what I'm talking about. And we've had a lot of people who've started riding because of this podcast and because of listening to stories like yours. Like, people get inspired, and it's really, really cool. So that's been my push to keep going with this podcast, but like to also keep going with my riding, because people look at that, you know, this may be your first interview, but there's going to be people that listen to this that are super inspired by it. And that's going to be so cool.
Yeah, I hope so. It'd be, you know, it's always great to see, you know, first time rider trying to figure out the clutch. Like, to me, that's super, like, it's cool to see that stuff, because it's like they struggle and they struggle and they start getting a little bit, you know, frustrated, and like then something just clicks in their head, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like this is sick. You know, you're just going around in circles. Simple, but it's like you can see it, like, just to them, it's super neat, and they're like trying to, like, they're starting to figure something out, and it's like, I don't know, it's satisfying to see. And for like even in like the hard enduro stuff, it's super, like, I don't know if the BNC guys or something raced before us, they have like a little prologue or something, and you're watching, you're spectating or something, and there's a little line, and they're struggling on it, and someone just comes up and they're like, I'm just gonna send it, and they hit it, and then they start revving. Like, to me, that's super satisfying. Like, I love seeing like how happy they get, because they made it over something that like was difficult, and they did it, and now they're happy that they made it. But I think that feeling only comes when you do something that's difficult, which is, you know, why I think hard enduro is super. It's super good just in general. Like, riding dirt bikes, or, you know, the hard enduro thing is, you do something really difficult, like you try on gut and you just finish a lap or just get through a section or make one more checkpoint or something, and then you do it, you're like, yeah, like I did it. Like, it's just, you know, I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I was able to like convince myself, just going, get one more foot and just keep moving. And to me, that's awesome. Like, I love seeing that out of people. It's super, super nice to see, like, that kind of, that, you know, universal human feeling of like you do something hard and you feel really good about it. Like it's satisfying to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I've been involved in a lot of clinics since I started riding. Like, I've done a lot of media for clinics and stuff like that. And those light bulb moments are so inspiring for me, because even though I'm not learning that specific skill at that moment, I'm taking the picture. I have so many pictures of people in those moments. You know, the big smile on their face, the kid who's got this like crazy look on his face because he hit a 12 o'clock wheelie, and he was just like, oh my God, like he didn't know what to do. But like, it is super, super cool to see that stuff. So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely satisfying.
Yeah. So, kind of backtracking a little bit, I wanted to touch base on your racing. So, you've obviously done well. You've been progressing. You've been doing really great. You know, John Cole hasn't caught you yet. So, um, so
Yeah.
what does a week like look like leading up to a race? Like, what is your nutrition? What does your training look like leading up to something?
So it depends on the race a little bit. To be honest with you, I don't know that I have like a real structured plan going in, and it for sure varies like race to race. Like, um, something like River Monsters or something like that, where it's like I know it's kind of going to be. I mean, maybe it won't be next year, but the past years it's been a little bit faster paced. Maybe not like the hardest of the hard enduros. Super fun still, but just a different style. Like, maybe kind of the mental side of it. I'm like, yeah, you know, you got to stay intense through that whole thing, versus something like Roar, where and like Roar and the kind of the whole Keystone Challenge, where I'm like, I know I'm going to be out there for 6 hours. I know it's going to suck. Like, I'm going to be in the pain cave. It's, you know, it's not going to be a whole lot of fun when you're, you know, 5.5 hours in, you got 30 minutes to go and you might make the checkpoint. Like, that's not that much fun.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, going into those races, it just, you know, how I kind of get myself mentally there. I just try to put myself in those situations and like tell myself, like, right now in this moment, like, I'm okay. So if I'm okay right now, then I'll be okay then. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. But then for like the actual like physical stuff like that, I would say for sure, um, the week of, I'm definitely like tapering down a little bit. Maybe like, um, that Monday or something is still kind of intense. You know, you're going for 3 or 4 hours or something on the bike. Still something that's fairly legit. And then Tuesday, maybe tone it down a little bit. just maybe just work on some skills and stuff, just tighten everything up. And then Wednesday is typically bike prep, try and build a couple wheels, make sure that the oil's changed, stuff like that. And then, I don't know, Thursday you might be driving, and Friday kind of get to the race and walk around if you can, or just kind of hang out, stretch your legs a little bit, then race. Hopefully it goes well.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's cool. Some people don't care. Like, not that they don't care, but they just like don't have like a prep. They just treat it like any other day, and they just go like, oh yeah, today's Friday. All right, cool, we're racing today. And they just go. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. I have to like mentally prepare, like you said. So it's kind of cool to hear that. So out of all of the races that you did this year, what was that?
The connection was a little bit weird. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Sorry. So okay. Of all the races that you did this year, this is a really bad question, but what was your favorite race this year?
Oof. I don't know. I remember telling Riley Bender that I loved Roar for some reason. I like everyone else like really hates it, but for some reason I kind of like it. It's tough. This year was the exception. I was miserable. I was like, it was tough for sure, but I still like that stuff. Donner might have been just because like, I don't know, that place is pretty neat. Just that whole area, like riding around like the few days before and stuff like that, seeing some of the scenery, kind of hanging out by the lake and stuff that week leading up was cool. And then the race itself, kind of riding on those granite slabs, like it was cool to hit stuff like that, and the lines were, it was a fun race. I probably would say Donner. Trying to think of the other ones. I think that the shotgun race is a lot of fun too. I don't know why, but I think just trying to string those moves together, like if you can go from where you are and just start up and hit one little line, and then all of a sudden you're moving and you try and cut, like just don't stop. Like my whole mentality goes from like, all right, I'm moving, like what do I do now? Just keep moving, just don't stop moving, because it's you're just trying to make it up all these like really teetering rocks, and they're all rolling on you, and it's like if you've got momentum, keep it. I don't know, I'd say it's probably between those two. I like Dawn, but the shotgun race it's pretty fun too.
Yeah. And what races would you want to go to that you haven't been to yet here in the States?
Probably Hawaii. I think it's Hawaii. Like it's pretty cool. It would be neat to be out there and but then the race itself looks fun. Like I'm curious what the Hawaiian ice looks like. It just looks about as slick as you can possibly get. But it looks like fun to kind of slip and slide around and see what it's like. And then I think the only one that I haven't done other than that is Grinding Stone, which for someone who's not super spendy, I'm not sure if I need to be going in the first place. It's intimidating, even on camera. So I'm scared what it looks like in person.
It's huge in person. I was very intimidated. Again, as a spectator, I was doing media there, and I was like, what? And so I got to climb one of the mesas and be up on the mesa while I was shooting, and I was like, oh my god, this is so scary.
It looks so gnarly. I forget, I don't remember who it was, but there's a video of him, and he like just tries to climb some crazy like face there, and it doesn't go well for him. And he falls down, and the bike comes tumbling down. It like lands on his ankle, and his ankle bends all funny, and his shoulder's broken out. It's like, dude, that's just gnarly. It looks.
That's my friend, actually. That's my friend Dylan Santoro.
So gnarly. Is he okay, or is he riding again, or is he kind of out for a while?
He's back to riding. He's been out for a while. He I think he broke his shoulder, and then he like severely messed up his ankle, and like it messed with like his whole rotator cuff. So he's just given it a lot of time to really heal well, because that dude goes
hard. He's a legend out here, and like I've seen him ride outside of races like in person. I'm like, dude, oh my god, some of the lines that this dude does are intense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he's just getting back to riding. I think he just started like a couple weeks ago. So it was gnarly. But yeah, I'm super excited.
That was one of the worst.
He said, yeah, oh my god, I heard about it. I hadn't seen what happened. I was on the other side of the mesa when it happened, and somebody told me, and they're like, yeah, it was number 80, and I like freaked out. I was like, excuse me, what? And so yeah, it really sucked. He's one of my heroes in hard enduro, so seeing him get hurt like that out, I was like, oh man. But he's getting back to it, and he's like getting ready to hit it hard this winter and start training again. So I'm super excited for that.
Good. Yeah, that was an early one. I'm happy he's up and moving around again. That's good to hear.
Yeah. But it highlights the intensity of that race. I mean, that race is just huge. Like everything is scary about that place. Everywhere I went to shoot, I was like, oh my god. And I was just walking.
Mm-hmm. No, it looks super sketchy. Like it looks like fun to try and hit some of the lines, but yeah, I'm nervous. Gosh, this is gonna be gnarly. It'll be fun.
I feel like it would be, yeah, I feel like it would be a fun one to do, like a fun place to go ride. Not necessarily be in a race with like all that pressure, but like, take your time, pick your line, that sort of thing. I'd be good with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it definitely seems like fun. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm nervous. No doubt about it. I'm nervous for it a little bit, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. I'd be super stoked to see you out there, because that is one I will not do. They tried to convince me to do it this year, and I was like, y'all really think that I should be out there? No, I don't think so. So okay, so that takes care of races here in the US. So if you had all expenses paid anywhere in the world, not necessarily a race, it could be just a ride, where would you want to go?
I feel like it's it's hard to pass up on Erzberg. Like it would just be that's pretty sick. Like just the whole vibe, that whole week leading up to it and everything, and just kind of the hit behind it. Maybe it's the first hard enduro, and it's the biggest still. Just to be down there in those mountains it'd be pretty sick. And then another one that I've always thought looks fun, looks tough as nails, but is the Hispania in Spain.
Oh
I've always thought that one looked like a good time. Just like you're kind of down by the lake and you've got those off cameras you're trying to navigate and slide yourself into a crack and shoot up or something. I thought that one looked like fun too. I mean, they all look like fun, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Erzberg. It's hard to pass up on the bird.
Yeah, I was there this year, and I was just like in awe, because like I said, I've been watching it since 2014 or something like that, and I was just like, good lord, this is like, I know how big everything looks on camera, and it's like 15 times bigger in person. The steepness of some of the stuff that they go up is absolutely insane. I was like, it is like straight up and down almost. And I didn't realize that. I was like, oh my god. Like I don't know how they do it, but it's even more impressive now. Like going back and like looking at old videos and stuff, I'm like, I've seen that section. Like I know how crazy it is. Carl's Diner, way longer than I thought it was, and way crazier.
No, I mean, like we were talking about, like everything is different, like on the camera versus in person and everything. But I would be curious to see, of course, like how long and steep those hills are and how big the boulders are in the diner and stuff like that. Like it just seems like a good time, just the whole week, and then the race in general just seems like just a good time to me for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a very different atmosphere over there. It's like a festival,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody is having such a good time. I mean, the beer tent is crazy. I don't drink, but I went, just to experience it because it was an adventure going in there. Oh my God, these guys like jumping on these tables, and it was insanity, but it's like controlled insanity. Like no one's like breaking out in fights, at least not that I saw. Everybody was just having fun, and like they were there for hard enduro, and the crowds screaming for people. Oh my God, that was the coolest thing. There were so many people. And I was like, we need to bring that
Mm-hmm.
energy to the US. Like, I don't know how we do it, but man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would love to. Like those guys come with, the chainsaws and the air horns and stuff like that. It just seems like a good time. Like you come through those sections and just going crazy. Like they have no idea who you are, but they're going crazy just because there's someone in front of them doing something cool. That just seems
Yeah.
like a really good time to me, and it would be really something to get a crowd like that at a hard enduro. It would
Yeah.
be tough, I'm sure. I don't know the first time winning a race, but um, it would be pretty sick to have something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It'd be awesome. That's one of my favorite questions, because I think you're actually the first person to say something outside of, usually it's Erzberg, of course, Romaniacs, or Sea to Sky.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the first person to
Mm-hmm.
say something different. So
Yeah, the say that in Romaniacs and Sky would be a lot of fun too. So I don't know.
oh
It
yeah.
would be fun to run. It just seems like a good time to be out there and that finish kind of in that the pit, and then they climb up the final hill climb there. It seems like a good time too. Just you get down there and everyone's hyping you up to hit it and to finish strong and everything like that. It's like fun.
Yeah, yeah, that seems awesome. One of these days I'll go. Maybe I won't race that one, but I'll at least want to go watch. But we'll see. Um, that's
Yeah.
cool. I like that. Okay, so if you could give advice to somebody who's brand new to riding, what would be your best advice for them? Like, just got a dirt bike yesterday, they're just going to start on it.
I would say just do the things that seem fun. Like I obviously like to me like the hard enduro stuff is fun, but there's like so many more people that find hard enduro just the worst thing ever. So it's like everyone has their own thing. So I would say like just if you bought a dirt bike to have fun, you're going to now just see how much fun you can have.
Yeah.
Find something that you're into and stick to it because I think if you're really into GNCC racing or if you're really into motocross or flat track or something, I don't know, then get into it because I think once you start getting better, obviously like there's a curve there, and like once you kind of make it over the hump, everything just becomes that much more fun. Um, and like when you start finding a flow in the woods, if you're doing kind of hair scramble racing, or if you start really being able to like kind of nail lines or something like that at hard enduro, it just becomes like, oh man, this is fun. So I would just say like find something you're into, even if it's not racing. Like you might just really enjoy trail riding, or you might just enjoy like going to the motocross track on Sundays and hanging out with your friends. Like just do something that like you find enjoyable. There's going to be a million different people pulling you in a million different ways. So just, see what you like, dip your toe in everything. I think that's another thing is like, you can't know something until you try it. So
Yeah.
you might as well just, race a hard enduro or at least go on a trail of hard enduro with someone and see if you're like, man, this
Yeah.
sucks. Or, oh, that was a lot of fun. Like it was cool to make it through. I don't know. I think just
Yeah.
keep it fun for yourself. That's the big thing. It's supposed to be fun. So keep it fun.
Yeah. I like that. That's awesome. Okay, so then how about somebody who's brand new to hard enduro?
Run away as fast as possible. I just think like if you're kind of committed to the hard enduro stuff, I would definitely say kind of like what you were saying is like you need to get it right. Don't just try and get through it. Like you need to be able to get the things right. And it takes a little bit longer than you expect it to. I think is something that I had to learn the hard way. Is like there was a video Rich Larson put out he was like, he was doing like 500 double blips in a day or something. And he said, you might think you've done 500 in a day, but probably you only did 50. So he was like, it takes a lot longer than you think it's going to take. And I think that's the truth for sure. And especially in hard enduro, is like, you really need to focus on those basic stuff. Like, don't try and, start doing all these different moves and trying to piece them together when, you can barely slip the clutch or something like that. It's just, there's so many little things that have to get those down first, and just enjoy yourself again. Just try and have fun. Like, it's not, don't take yourself too seriously for sure. Just enjoy it.
Okay.
And everything becomes a lot more fun.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah, most of us aren't getting paid for this, so you don't have to treat it like a job.
Yeah.
Just keep having fun with it. So, which is a whole different podcast. Like, totally different podcast to talk about that, because that's a huge subject right now.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, of course, it's everyone's dream in life to do what they love, but it's it's a lot of work. So I think just keep it fun. That's the big thing. Is like, with everything, just if you're having fun doing it, just keep having fun doing it.
I like that a lot. I like that focus. That's good. All right. Well, I think that's all I had for you. So is there anybody that you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like my mom and dad, like it would be literally so impossible for me to do any of this without them. So huge shout out to them, and also my uncle. I think who most people think is my dad, but my uncle Steve, he's been huge in this too, like helping me through, kind of showing me the ropes of the off-road world and stuff like that. He was into it a lot before I was, so big shout out to him. And then Bulletproof, like Bud, he's killer. I show up to the races and stuff like that, and I'll talk to him for a little bit, and he'll check in, like, hey, how you doing? You ready to go? Is your bike good? Like, you need anything really, really great. And then, their stuff too is top notch. I have zero complaints with like any of the parts I've ever put on. I don't know if I've ever taken them off. Like, they're legit. And then Jason at Carbon, he's been super, super helpful to me too. Just kind of helping out with this, and even through like when I was in school and stuff, he was super helpful to me as well. Just kind of giving me advice along the way of, this is kind of the direction that some of those top guys are going. So maybe you should, maybe do what they do. So he was helpful, and just with everything with parts and stuff like that too. It'd be a lot tougher without those guys for sure. And then the Pro Tune suspension guys, they're the guys I could too. I have zero complaints with them at all. The stuff that I get back from them, I might make a clicker or two here or there, but it's like, for the most part, they kill it. I don't mess with it. I'm maybe a little bit too hard. Like, I don't really mess with my bike. Maybe I should, but I get stuff back from them, and it's pretty much good to go.
That's awesome.
Cool guys too. I met them in Silver Kings, and they were super helpful too, asking me if I needed anything for the bike or anything like that. So they were great for sure. I'm not forgetting anyone here, but that's everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time and being able to jump on this, like, especially so quickly, because we just talked about this the other day, and we're just like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I had a little break in my schedule here, so it kind of worked out perfect. If you would have texted me like a week later, it might have been a little tough, but no, this was great. It was
awesome. Well, thank you again, and I guess I'll catch up with you. Are you going to be at the Ohio rounds?
Yeah, I should be there. I think I'm going to try and do all the East Coast stuff. The one up in Marquette, that was a lot of fun last year. The drive was a little tough. I'm going to try and go maybe a day early, but it was a lot of fun last year. So I'm going to try and do all the East Coast rounds.
Nice.
I love those last year. They were a lot of fun. Maybe a little less like intense as the premier rounds, which I kind of liked. It was like, you know, you show up, you race, and you leave. It was a really cool vibe at those. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun at those last year too. So, well, I guess I'll see you in Ohio then.
Sounds good. I'll see you there.
All right, bye.